I refuse to change my plans for my sister's wedding anniversary. My sister Becca has this thing where everything has to revolve around her schedule. Like if she's having a bad day, everyone else needs to drop whatever they're doing to make her feel better. And my parents always just went along with it because she's the youngest and supposedly sensitive. So when I planned my weekend trip to see my college friends for the first time in 2 years, I was pumped. We booked this cabin, bought groceries, planned hiking trails, the whole thing. I requested time off work 3 months in advance and everything was set. Then Becca calls me crying because she just remembered her 3rd wedding anniversary. Was that same weekend? Mind you, she's been married for 3 years, so it's not like this date snuck up on her. But apparently, she wanted to throw this huge party at my parents' house and needed me there to help set up decorations and cook for like 30 people. I told her I couldn't change my plans because my friends already took time off, and we'd lose the deposit on the cabin. She absolutely lost it. Started screaming about how I never support her and how I'm a selfish sister who doesn't care about family milestones. My parents called me next, guilt-tripping me about missing such an important event. I reminded them that nobody told me about this party until a week before, and that I already had plans. My mom said I was being stubborn and that my friends would understand. But here's the thing, my friends wouldn't understand. These are people I barely get to see because we all live in different states now. This trip was our chance to reconnect after years of just texting. So, I stuck to my guns and went on my trip. We had an amazing time hiking, playing card games, and just catching up. One posted a few pictures on Instagram of us at the lake and around a campfire. Big mistake. When I got home Sunday night, I had 47 missed calls from Becca, apparently. She saw my post and completely flipped out during her anniversary party. She told everyone that I deliberately skipped her celebration to party with random people, and made herself look like the victim. But that wasn't even the worst part. Becca decided to get revenge by calling my boss and telling him I was at a drug-fueled college reunion and that I was probably too hungover to work Monday. She even sent him screenshots of my Instagram photos, claiming the drinks in her hands were proof I had a drinking problem. My boss called me in for a meeting first thing Monday morning. I had to explain that we were drinking soda and that my sister was lying because she was mad about a family dispute. Thank God my boss is reasonable and knows Becca has tried to cause drama at my work before. Then I found out she also messaged my landlord claiming I was subletting my apartment illegally because she saw my friends in my Instagram location tags. She told him I was running some kind of illegal urban operation. I had to provide my lease agreement and explain that I just had friends visiting before he stopped threatening eviction. The final straw was when she created a fake dating profile using my photos and started messaging random guys discussing things. She somehow got my phone number attached to it. So I started getting creepy texts and calls from strangers thinking I was interested in them. I spent 3 days dealing with her revenge campaign, explaining to my boss, reassuring my landlord, reporting the fake profiles, and blocking weird numbers, all because I wouldn't drop my plans to help her throw a party she planned last minute. When I confronted her about it, she said I deserved it for being an unsupportive sister. She claimed she was just showing me what happens when you prioritize strangers over family. That's when I decided I was done. I told my parents exactly what she did, trying to get me fired, nearly getting me evicted, and creating fake profiles with my pictures. For once, they actually saw how crazy her behavior was. My dad made her apologize and pay for the therapy sessions I needed after dealing with the aftermath of her revenge plot. But honestly, the damage was already done. I realized that Becca would always expect everyone to bend over backwards for her, and she'd always punish anyone who didn't comply. The therapy helped a bit. Those sessions with Dr. Lena were eye-opening, forcing me to unpack years of being the responsible older sister, while Becca played the eternal victim. Dad's stern talk with her led to a half-hearted apology over text, complete with excuses about her stress from wedding planning even though it was their anniversary, not a vow renewal, and she wired me $500 for the therapy. But it felt like hush money more than genuine remorse. Mom, ever the peacemaker, tried organizing a sister's brunch to mend fences, but I declined, citing my packed schedule. Work had ramped up with a big project deadline, and honestly, I needed space to rebuild my trust in family. Becca didn't stop there, though. Her revenge simmered into subtler sabotage. A month later, during my performance review, my boss mentioned concerns from an anonymous source about my reliability, echoing her lies about the trip. I traced the IP on the complaint email back to her. Turns out she used a VPN, but forgot to clear her browser history when borrowing Mom's laptop. Confronting her again exploded into a full family meltdown, Dad yelling about boundaries, Mom crying in the corner, Becca screaming that I was spying on her. That's when Dad dropped the bomb he'd been quietly documenting her patterns for years, from high school tantrums that derailed family vacations to her wedding. where she fired the caterer last minute because the cake wasn't perfect. He announced a family intervention, flying in Aunt Clara, the no-nonsense lawyer who'd handled Grandma's estate, to mediate. The intervention was brutal. Becca arrived fashionably late, arms crossed. But Aunt Clara laid out timelines, emails, and even old voicemails proving her manipulations. "This isn't sensitivity, Becca," Aunt Clara said flatly. "It's narcissism. And it's cost this family thousands in money, time, and relationships." Becca stormed out mid-session, but not before hurling a vase at the wall, shattering glass everywhere. Days later, she emailed the family group chat a 2,000-word manifesto blaming her toxic upbringing, me specifically, for always competing, and announcing she'd be going. No contact to heal. Fine. By me it was the first peace I'd felt in years. But her husband, poor Mark, texted me privately, "She's spiraling. Therapy isn't optional anymore. Thanks for holding the line." Turns out, her revenge extended to him too. She drained their joint savings for that anniversary party blowout, maxing out cards on ADJ, fireworks, and a photo booth nobody asked for. Mark confided she'd been gaslighting him about me being the problem child. But seeing the evidence flipped his perspective. Meanwhile, my life started thriving without the drama. I threw myself into work, landing a promotion to team lead after nailing that project. My boss even joked about making me chief sibling wrangler for my crisis management skills. My college friends, hearing the full saga over our next virtual hangout, rallied with a group chat called Becca Blacklist, sharing memes and support. And one buddy, Jake from the cabin trip, started calling more. Our texts evolving from platonic check-ins to flirty late nights. We met up during my next weekend off, grabbing coffee that turned into a full dinner. And suddenly I had my own milestone, brewing a potential relationship built on mutual respect, not obligation. Becca's no contact lasted exactly 6 weeks. She reappeared at Mom's birthday dinner uninvited, all dolled up in fake remorse, hugging everyone with crocodile tears. "I've been in intensive therapy," she claimed, flashing a counselor's card later revealed as a one-off Zoom session. Dad wasn't buying it. He set ground rules: no more lies, no sabotage, full accountability, or no family events. She nodded eagerly, then cornered me in the kitchen. "See? I'm changing. But you have to forgive me publicly, or it'll look bad." I laughed outright. Classic Becca, centering herself even in apology. "Forgiveness is earned, not performed," I said, walking away. That night, Mark pulled me aside, whispering he filed for separation. Her antics had eroded their marriage beyond repair. Divorce papers cited irreconcilable differences, but friends whispered it was her endless drama. Becca blamed me online, of course posting vague stories about betrayal by blood, but her followers dwindled as mutuals shared screenshots of her past stunts. Mom finally woke up to starting her own therapy and confiding she'd enabled Becca out of guilt from a miscarriage before her birth, but no more. She began prioritizing her own life, joining a book club and planning solo trips. Me? I planned my first solo international getaway to Italy, no family input required. Booking flights felt liberating. A middle finger to years of last-minute cancellations for Becca's whims. As departure neared, Jake asked to join. We made it official over video call, toasting with wine glasses to boundaries and Badassari. Becca's final stunt came via certified mail, a demand letter from a shady lawyer, claiming I defamed her during the intervention, seeking $10,000. Aunt Clara shredded it in minutes, frivolous nonsense, and countersued for harassment, citing the fake profiles and work sabotage. Becca dropped it fast, settling out of court with a gag order, and my legal fees covered. Last I heard, she's couch surfing with distant cousins, peddling essential oils on TikTok while Mark thrives post-divorce, dating someone stable. Family holidays are smaller now, just Dad, Mom, me, and Aunt Clara, but genuine, with laughter instead of tiptoeing. I posted a photo from Italy, me and Jake at the Coliseum, caption priorities. Becca liked it silently, no comments, no drama. Turns out, refusing to change my plans wasn't selfishness. It was a spark that freed us all. Story 2 on our anniversary. My wife openly cheated in front of everyone. She laughed when I walked out, thinking I'd just roll over and take it. But the divorce was only the beginning. I had a shocking revenge plan that would destroy her reputation, drain her comfort, and leave her with nothing but regret. Chapter 1: The Anniversary Ambush. 12 years. That's how long we had been married. And on that particular evening, our anniversary, I truly believed we were celebrating the life we built together. The rooftop restaurant glowed with soft lights. Candles flickered on every table. Our closest friends and family were there, dressed to the nines. A waiter clinked a glass with a spoon and raised a toast to Nick and Ava, 12 strong years, and ears to many more. The applause felt genuine. So did the smile on Ava's face, at least at first. But then everything shifted. It started with her wandering to another table. I thought she was just mingling, chatting with a few colleagues she'd invited last minute. One of them, a man I didn't recognize, kept laughing far too loudly at her every word. Then came the second drink. Then the third, and that's when the touching started. His hand on her waist, her fingers grazing his chest. I saw it. We all saw it, Ava, I called softly. She looked at me like I was interrupting something inconvenient. And then, right in front of everyone, she leaned into the man and kissed him, not a friendly peck. A full, slow kiss. The room went silent. Her mother gasped. My best friend looked at me, stunned. Even the band stopped playing. When she pulled away, she laughed. Oh, come on, Nick, don't be so dramatic. It's our anniversary. You can share for once, right? The walkout. I stood there for a moment. The sting, the heat, the humiliation, and then I smiled, not because I was okay, but because I suddenly saw everything clearly. Enjoy your evening, I said calmly, turning toward the exit. Oh? Come on, she called behind me. Don't be so sensitive. It's just a little fun. I didn't respond because in that moment, I already knew exactly what I would do next. Chapter 2, The Silent Exit. I didn't go home that night. Didn't yell, didn't scream, didn't even send a text. While Ava was likely sipping champagne and bragging about spicing things up, I checked into a quiet extended stay suite on the edge of town under a different name. That was the beginning of my silence. Cutting the noise. Over the next 48 hours, I didn't answer a single call or message. Ava tried once, just one line. You're overreacting. We need to talk. I didn't respond. I was too busy meeting with 2 lawyers, one for the divorce and one for corporate asset protection. Our finances had always been in my name. The house, the cars, the investments. My careful structuring had been seen as old-fashioned when we married. Now it was my greatest shield. She didn't see it coming. By day 4, Ava's tone had changed. Nick, what's going on? Why are you ignoring me? You're acting insane. Insane, number-focused. I had already filed the divorce papers and moved half our liquid assets into a trust. She still thought I was just having a tantrum. Meanwhile, I'd already met with a private investigator. You want dirt? He asked. No, I replied. I want proof, and I want it airtight. The house of cards begins to wobble. By the end of the week, I stopped paying for her credit card. The car she drove, leased under my name, was scheduled for repossession. Ava finally showed up at my office, storming through reception like a hurricane. Where the hell have you been? Why are my cards declined? What are you doing? I looked her dead in the eyes. Setting boundaries and preparing your new life. Her jaw dropped. You can't be serious. I'm deadly serious. No more Mr. Quiet. As she stood there stunned and desperate to regain control, I leaned forward. That night, you laughed. You humiliated me publicly. I didn't yell. Ava, I didn't cry. I didn't make a scene. But you thought I'd roll over just like always. And now I'm showing you exactly what silence can do. She turned pale, and for the first time, she looked afraid. Chapter 3, The Legal Trap. Divorce court didn't rattle me. I walked in calm, collected, and with every paper meticulously prepared. Ava, she walked in late, confused and visibly flustered. Her freshly dyed hair couldn't hide the dark circles under her eyes. She still thought she had leverage. She didn't know she'd already lost. The financial surprise, Ava's lawyer started talking big, asking for alimony, the house, the car, and half my company. I stayed silent until it was my turn. Then I calmly handed the judge a neatly organized binder. Inside, prenup signed the week before our wedding, proof of infidelity, time-stamped and verified bank statements showing my full control over assets, and a recorded message from Ava's own mother expressing disgust at her behavior. During the anniversary party, the judge barely glanced at her attorney before speaking. Given the evidence and the terms of the marital agreement, the court rules in favor of the petitioner. The respondent will receive no alimony, no share in the business, and must vacate the property within 30 days. The house and the car gone. The house had always been mine. Bought 2 years before we met, but I let Ava decorate it, fill it with her personality, her things, her memories. Now, all of that had a time limit, 30 days. And the car. She handed the keys to a repo agent in front of a cafe a week later. People watched. She cried. No one came to help her. The social fallout begins. I didn't need to spread rumors. I just told the truth to friends, to family, to colleagues. A short message, always the same. Thanks for being part of our anniversary. I appreciate your support as Ava and I go our separate ways. That was all it took. People talked, people remembered. And slowly the polished image Ava had spent years cultivating began to crack. And then the job call came. She called me crying 3 days after the divorce was finalized. Nick, they let me go. They said the board didn't want bad publicity. I'm sorry to hear that, I said plainly. This is your fault. Number this is the consequence of your actions. Chapter 4. Reputation ruined. Ava once prided herself on being the woman everyone envied. Gorgeous, charismatic, career-driven. She called herself a connector, someone who knew the right people, and always said the right things. But in the weeks after our divorce, all of that fell apart because the one thing she never planned for was the truth quietly spreading. The Whisper Network. It began subtly. Old friends stopped replying, invites dried up. People she once considered allies, those who sat beside her at that anniversary dinner, slowly distanced themselves. The story didn't need exaggeration. Just the facts were enough. A married woman kisses another man at her anniversary party, laughs it off, then demands sympathy when her husband walks away. No matter how much Ava tried to rewrite the narrative, people had seen it. People had heard her. And no amount of charming excuses could erase that memory. The conference bombshell. She tried to salvage her image at an industry conference. She showed up polished in a new dress, smiling for photos. I sent an anonymous email to the event director, attached a clip of her drunken toast from that night. Her arm wrapped around her affair partner, slurring, 12 years of marriage, and now I finally get to really enjoy myself. That clip was shared quietly among attendees. She wasn't removed from the panel, but when she stepped on stage, the applause was scattered and cold. She knew, and worse, she knew they knew. A lonely apartment. I knew she'd moved into a smaller apartment. The lavish house, the club membership, the designer closet gone. Her new place was a modest 2-bedroom walk-up. Ava had once called people who lived in such places ambitionless. Now she was one of them. I didn't gloat. I just let her feel it, the weight of being no one's favorite anymore. The night she called again. It was nearly midnight. I let the phone ring twice before picking up. Her voice was shaky. Nick, I know I don't deserve anything. But I don't know how I ended up here. You built the staircase yourself, I said. I just stepped aside. She was silent. Please, she whispered. Is there anything you could do? A recommendation. A call. Something. I already gave you something, I said. What freedom? And then I hung up. Chapter 5. The final blow. It had been 3 months since the divorce. 3 months since she laughed at me, kissed another man in front of everyone we knew, and expected me to stay quiet and broken instead. She watched her life fall apart piece by piece, while I didn't lift a finger to stop it. But I wasn't done, not yet. The legacy she thought she deserved. Ava had always wanted her own brand, fashion, lifestyle, a podcast. She talked about being a voice for strong women like she was already Oprah. She'd begun setting up a new venture with a small media firm she pitched 2 months ago. They were planning a digital series. That's when I made my final move. Through a mutual connection, a quiet behind-the-scenes producer, I shared every verifiable detail. Her public infidelity, her professional fallout, the leaked footage from the anniversary party, her affair partner's termination from his own company. I didn't push an agenda. I just asked, would you trust your brand with this? The next day, the project was cancelled. The article, a popular relationship blog, published a piece from a girl to isolation. When public image meets private scandal. It didn't name her directly, but it didn't have to. Anyone in our circle recognized the story? Ava called me again that night. I let it go to voicemail. You win. Are you happy now? She still didn't get it. It wasn't about winning. It was about accountability. The coffee shop meeting. Weeks later, we crossed paths by chance at a local coffee shop. She looked thinner, quieter, wrapped in a coat that once would have been too plain for her taste. She walked up to me slowly, hesitantly. Nick, she said, almost inaudible. I nodded. Ava? I'm not here to beg. I wanted to say I'm sorry for everything. I steadied her. No rage, no pity. I believe you, I said calmly. And I truly hope you find something better than the person you were. She blinked hard. You really mean that? Yeah, I said. But that doesn't mean I'll ever forget. Then I walked away. Peace, finally, that night. I poured myself a drink, not to celebrate, not to gloat, but to close the final page of a story I never asked to be in. She humiliated me on the most sacred night of our marriage. But in the end, I rebuilt everything. And she was left with nothing but the memory of what she destroyed. And that was the most perfect revenge of all. Was this revenge perfectly justified? Tell us what you would have done in the comments below. Like the story, share it with someone who needs this energy. And subscribe to Revenge Exposed for more jaw-dropping tales of betrayal and justice. Because here, every lie has its reckoning, and every betrayal finds its shadow. Stay sharp, stay strong, and stay tuned.